But make sure this is all coming through good. YouTube.com/PHPUgly.
I mean, as far as OBS is concerned, it's not any different.
Okay, that's good. I'm frozen.
Yeah, because you minimized your tab instead of just putting it in the background.
Move this.
Would you prefer Skype? I can do Skype again. I can do it.
Oh, I almost put our Zencaster link out there instead of.
You're a little low, Tom. On you're a little low on YouTube. John's a little low too.
That's because I'm not talking. That's probably why. It might be better.
Yeah.
How about that?
John's fine.
Of course I am.
I cranked the encoder up for YouTube just now.
Right.
Let me pull up the director.
You're still way low, Tom. You're low. All right, I got to remember not to click on this window. That's going to drive me nuts.
Click on what window? You can click on it.
No, I got to not use it. I can't use this window.
Boy, that's easy for me. I got like 70 windows, 2,000 tabs.
New technology.
Each.
All right. What do you want to do? You want to just go with this,
Hold on,
Tom?
I'm tweaking the video settings, trying to.
Can you get in Zencaster so I don't forget to start that?
Oh yeah.
And why are we on standby?
Where's
I don't get that.
Where's the Zencaster link? Oh, you
It's-
shared it in the.
Yeah.
Discord. Who we have in Discord? Anybody with us? Anybody with us in Discord? Give us a shout.
Check. 1, 2. Check. Good to go.
Waiting for the. No, you're still way low. I mean, you're audible.
Oh my.
Darling
audio.
Data, welcome. Roger, welcome. Is it just me or is Tom super low?
Check. 1, 2.
He's lower than normal for sure.
Check. How about now? How about now?
Are you waiting for for the how about now to come back through, or because
No,
you're still
waiting
low?
Is my audio low still?
Yeah, no, it's still low. Yeah, he could use 10 to 20. I wonder if you're low on Twitch. Let me jump over to Twitch.
Check.
Yeah,
1, 2.
I assume you're low everywhere.
Check. 1, 2.
Why are we not streaming on Twitch?
That seems to be
anymore?
getting worse.
Check.
That sounds worse. Lower.
Analog 1, 2. Focus site.
Hmm.
And take it back.
Hey, Kevin. We're working with some new services here.
How about now?
No.
No, what? Worse, better?
Worse. You're like super low.
How about now?
Nothing's changing.
Really? That's interesting. So the gain on that does not do what I want.
No.
Tap your mic. Are you using your mic? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine in the audio. We'll just clean up the audio. Just talk directly into your mic, and we'll just move through.
How about now?
No. Way worse. Whatever direction you're sliding the thing, slide it the other way.
As counterintuitive as that may be right now.
How about now?
Try again.
Check. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
better.
It sounds better on YouTube.
Check 1,
On
2.
Twitch.
Check.
On Twitch,
Check
it
1,
sounds-
2.
I'm not on YouTube anymore. I bounce back over.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Well, it would help if I actually get PHPUgly. Why are we not just
Check.
trending on YouTube? I don't understand this algorithm at all.
I'll explain it to you later. Check.
Hey, there you go. Hey, you figured
Check
it out.
1, 2. Does that sound better?
Yes.
That's my gain all the way up.
Oh, do you have your
Whatever.
Do you have your phantom power on?
Yeah.
Yes. Now I do. Is that different?
Yeah. You sound good now.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Very loud.
Check 1, 2. Check 1. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check. Hey, thanks to everybody for listening to this terrible portion of the podcast.
Thanks, Dev.
Check. That's
All right, are we ready to rock and roll?
let's rock and roll.
All right, let's do this.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all.
Nothing makes you people happy.
It's time to put the children and project managers to bed. We're here to talk code. Episode 243 of PHPUgly. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
Oh, why did the thing change to on air? I just noticed that.
And Tom Rideout.
It's because we're on air now.
but I don't.
None of this matters to anybody listening to the audio.
How
podcast.
does it change?
None of this.
I know, but I want to know how it changed. Well, then nobody sees it either on the screen.
That's true.
I literally don't know why. So for everyone who's listening, we're using a new video sharing service called OBS Ninja or Video Ninja now, and we're trying to get away from Skype because the stories you heard are true.
Skype, yeah.
Skype
so
recently.
Talk a little bit about Video Ninja. You said this is an open source project?
Yeah, so this is an open source project by a guy during the pandemic who said, hey, I want a good way to manage doing video broadcasts that I normally have to use Skype for. It's an all in browser thing. It's all P2P. There's peer-to-peer. So our video streams are going out to a website that splits it up and shares it back to us. And then I can hop into OBS and give it a video feed and say, hey, the video source is this URL. And magically it works. Or magically it's supposed to work.
Eric, do you know what I just realized? We started this without having to go and change all of our audio settings.
Well, that's the idea.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my, that was such a pain in
No
the
more
ass with Skype.
Yeah, no more
man.
Skype.
I'm so happy right now. Thank you, Thomas.
So that's thank you, Thomas. Thank you. I know you did a lot of hard work on that, looking for alternative.
It did take a couple days to get down to like exactly what I needed.
Well, we tried a few solutions too. We tried Jitsi. I was very hopeful with Jitsi. There's all this talk about Zoom being able to pipe Zoom through OBS, and
right. So
we kept kind of waiting for that.
Yeah, Zoom Rooms can do it, but Zoom itself can't.
So yeah, we've been wanting to do this for a while. So yeah, it's cool. And honestly, I mean, I don't know what the stream is going to be like, but I see my quality and John's quality seem better than what Skype was for sure. Thomas, you're just a train wreck of a person.
Yeah.
But I love you. You got cool swag. You got a nice shirt on. You got the OG Big D for Diego Dev. The Big D, as I call it.
Yeah, I get some cool little features too. Like if I wanted to, I can just hang up on Eric or like mute him individually. Like right now.
Real quick.
Can't hear a thing he's saying.
I am totally going to pull this from him. He's going to not be the person anymore.
Yep.
I will pull the OBS stuff from him. And keep in mind,
individual messages.
All this stuff is going on the audio stream. So you're only robbing the people who care more about us and want to watch the live stream. Tom is choosing to rob you.
Yeah, no.
Because the audio people are going to hear all that stuff. Everything I just said while he had me on mute.
All that gold.
They're going to hear. Yep. You guys keep that in mind next time you send me an angry email. Derek's talking about them too much. Okay. Not better or anything.
Eric, how was your week?
Hey, you know what's hysterical, John? Tom just muted himself. All right. Yeah, my week was good, actually. I have some exciting stuff. I have some stuff I can't talk about yet. It is driving me crazy. And I so wanted to tell John today, and I don't know what it is to know if it involves John, so I didn't. But I've got some exciting things might be happening. I don't know. I'm probably playing it up too much.
That is the worst.
And I'm not telling any of you guys. All right. So I will say,
I'm bugging you all day tomorrow. Tell me.
Because I mean, technically, I wasn't told not to say anything. But if it's something really cool, I don't want to say anything. I just want to tell you so bad. You'll never guess. You would never guess what it is. Somebody reached out to me and said, hey, I got this cool idea. You got some free time. And it's somebody
You've got free time.
a fan of. And I'm like,
how do you have free
baby,
time?
You say the time and I'll be there. And I got a calendar invite, a Calendly. I so bad want to tell you, John.
You can't even tell me off the air?
I had the message and a screenshot queued up to send to you. And I'm like, no, because what if it involves John and I'm completely ruining it for him? So, no, I can't.
What is it?
I can't tell you.
What is it?
I can't tell you.
It's going to be
It's
so
somebody you know. It's somebody we
historical.
all know. We all know this person. We all know
historically
them.
it's going to be terrible. You know that.
Yeah.
I was just excited to get an email from him. And it didn't have any legal
So it's a
rating on it
him.
or anything.
Okay.
Them. I said them. Did I say him?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I did say him. Them. I got an email from them. But we all know this person. We all know who this is.
If it's Taylor, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Taylor started ghosting me. I'm actually getting nervous about Taylor. I already told you guys. Yeah, I tell you guys everything. I'm interviewing him for a PHP architect. And I even put it in, if you're a subscriber to our Patreon and you're in our Patreon Discord channel. So first step would be going to our Discord, discord.phpugly.com, getting in there. There's plenty of channels in there. Everybody has a good time. We talk all week. We have internals people. We have people from other podcasts. We have people from around the world. Like pretty much any time of day, there's some cool conversation going on in there. But once you do that, then you head over to patreon.com/phpugly and become a Patreon supporter. And there's a special channel in Discord, which we'll pop into every now and then and kind of give some insight. So I've gone in there and given everybody an opportunity to say, hey, if, you have an opportunity to ask a question to Taylor. What would it be? And I got some questions. So anyways,
You got one good.
he started ghosting me. I was like, dude, are you gonna respond to any of these? I'm getting a little concerned, man. I mean, I've got all of July to write the article, so I'm not pressing up against anything yet, but I just like to have
done.
Yeah, I usually like to have my first responses by the beginning of the month, because if I want to follow up with additional questions, then I have a week or two for them to respond to that. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm not overly concerned. But then, so this other thing happened with this individual who we all know, who I will even put a little bit more sugar on it, who we all haven't heard from in a little while. And
COVID.
It was they had reached out to me, so I'm super excited. And the moment I find out that I'm not spoiling anything for you or the show, I promise you I will let you in on it if I get the okay. Like I honestly have no idea what it is. The email was very, very quick of, hey, long time no talk. I have a pretty cool idea. Are you free to talk? And it was somebody who doesn't reach out to me on a regular basis. I don't think they've ever reached out to me. And I saw this email. I'm like, yes. And I sent them my Calendly, whatever the thing's called, where they can schedule a meeting with me. Sent it to them. I said, you pick a time and I'll be there. And they picked a time. And
what time?
Now I'm just next Thursday before the show.
So I gotta wait a whole week.
Okay, so
it's driving me crazy. But hold on, I'm not done.
Eric's
done.
week was a Lovecraftian mystery.
I continue. Like something happened. Like a beacon went out. Like COVID is over and something's going on. Another person reached out to me. Another person who I'm sharing with you guys because I was ecstatic. I got a telegram from friend of the show, TJ Miller. And he's like, hey, man, what is I hear you're not using Nerd Tree? And I'm like, dude, you want to go there with me? Let's go. And we've actually been going back and forth for the last couple of days. I got him on NeoVim now. He's using the same repo that I'd shared with the show last week as like the seeder, which, spoiler alert, if you happen to look at that repo, this guy has been streaming all week and has redone the entire repo. So you're going to have to refresh. But it's cool. It's very cool. I still haven't shown John. John mentioned that he wanted to see it. I'm still learning my way around it, but I'm pretty much there now. There's a couple more tweaks I got to make with it, but this implementation is called LunarVim, I think is what he called the repo. It's in last week's show notes, so it's there. I'll put it in again this week if you guys are interested.
I was gonna say I don't see it there. I see the YouTube channel for NeoVim. And I remember you sharing you shared a link to like the dev version that hasn't been released yet. But I don't know what happened to that.
Was it not released yet?
I thought that was the thing, was it wasn't fully, like, you could still install it, but it wasn't.
Oh, NeoVim. Yeah. So a lot of stuff I'm doing in NeoVim requires NeoVim 5.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what the status of that is yet. But me and TJ Miller, we've been going back and forth for like the last couple of days. First thing, fantastic catch up with the guy. I've been a big fan of TJ Miller's for a while. He's just such a cool person. Very I mean, if you need help, TJ, he's helped me out with so much stuff with Docker. I mean, just about any question I had, I feel like I could ask TJ, and the guy had a response for me. So yeah, we've been going back and forth for the last 2 or 3 days. So he just installed. I mean, the guy is so flipping wicked smart. He drives me nuts because here I am. I've been playing with it for about a week. He gets in there and like 3 hours later, he goes, "Oh yeah, I got all this working. You said you didn't get this working. Don't know why. All you have to do is this. I'm like, damn it, that's really smart. So he got all my because the big thing I was trying not to do is I was trying to use the built-in language LSP protocol that NeoVim 5 has in it now, and it just didn't seem like it was working right for me. But you know, he got his working right away, and then I went back through and got mine working right away, and everything is gravy now. And then of course I said, you know, I'm like, I got to figure out how they're doing formatting, because it was doing 2 spaces, the old 2-space formatting for PHP. I'm like, you know, Storm and everybody else does 4 spaces now, and he just kicked out the one line of code. He goes, "Oh yeah, just add this." So I'm like, damn, that's awesome. So, but the problem with this repo, so I'm going to tell you right now, anybody who's interested in trying NeoVim, if you're not already a established Vim user, I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter. This guy's repo, this person's repo, he leans heavily into the Lua aspect of NeoVim. So all his configurations are Lua-based configurations. So I've been struggling a lot to understand how things are tied together. And like the new approach with this is everything's not in one big file anymore. Everybody's breaking their stuff down. So
no, I'm trying to learn Lua right now.
Why is that?
I think I am too.
I didn't know I was, but now I am.
I'm trying to learn Lua because there's a window management system for OS X that uses Lua scripting for window placement.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Hammerspoon.
Hammerspoon.
Yeah, Lua's interesting. I'm going through the learn X in Y process. So learnxinYminutes.com will give you learn Lua.
That's where I was doing my C learning. It has learn C too.
So I don't know. So far I'm not impressed.
Frank says it's not a pretty language, but it's a lot like C. So
two strikes.
Interesting. Put that over there too. How about you guys? John, how was your week?
It's been fantastic. I mean, I say fantastic. Meetings Monday and Tuesday, like all day, preparing for the next sprint coming up. But then just knocking out code, refactoring stuff, adding tests. Can't be happier. I love testing, especially testing older code. And once that's done, feeling better about it, knowing we can make changes. So yeah, it's mostly been a good week. Preparing for my, I have a flight next week, so trying to mentally prepare for that.
A flight? Where are you going?
Florida.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yep.
You've seen the weather reports, right?
I used to live there. Yeah. Trust me, I don't want to go there in summer, but I'm going.
Things have been wonderful here. I've
Oh,
were you not done with your week?
No, go for it. I heard something going on in Colorado.
Oh, there's always dumb stuff going on here, but the weather's been very nice. This week's been real crazy with heat waves throughout basically everywhere but Colorado. But it's been an oddly pleasant here. I've been doing a lot of story point management, a lot of sprint planning stuff, dealing with a lot of QA issues. I'm sorry that my week is so boring. How do you guys manage large concepts in tickets?
Break them down.
Break them down.
But how much do you break them down?
Usually,
as small as you can.
Yeah. Usually, there's discussion around it, and you try to figure out, through a collaborative effort. Usually, the product team comes up with, I want this feature, and it's really broad, and then it's up to the devs to figure out, okay, what do we need to do to make this work?
So do you give story points to architecture conversations?
So the team I work on, we don't do story points, so no. I mean, there are, when we do the big sprint planning meeting, it's at that point where there's discussion about what the goal is, and then we start talking about how we're going to attack the problem, and then try to break down and try to realize what's front end, what's back end, and then break it down even further from there. Especially for back end, it's we try to make them as small as possible, but not always that great at it.
In Discord,
like
Chris is joking, but he's not wrong. So I've found out about this today for the first time.
Joking, but not wrong about what?
Sprint poker. Have you guys done sprint poker?
I haven't, but I've heard of it.
Not even heard of it.
So the concept here is that someone gives you a sprint task and asks for the story points, and everyone involved goes to a website, literally sprintpoker.com, I think, and gives their points for the task and their reasons for the points. And then all at once they show their hands and say, this task is this many points and here's why. And then they discuss or don't discuss, depending on how much consensus there is, the reason for the number of story points on that task.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's traditionally done with actual like little cards when you're in person.
Yeah.
Not playing cards, but there's usually
now Chris here
numbers.
Suggests sprint poker with hand-to-hand combat, and I kind of don't disagree.
I don't. What's the hand-to-hand combat part?
It's just the seniority of your position as a trump card. Oh, I hate that. I hate that joke so much. How many epics does it take to actually complete a single ticket? If you want to participate in this conversation, Eric, where can you go?
I believe I already told him discord.phpugly.com.
Well, I'm very busy actively editing, so I didn't hear you.
How are you actively editing?
Just sit back and enjoy the ride, baby. We're rolling now. We're rolling.
Can't.
Rolling. I had to go through. Are you still doing project management shit? I mean,
no,
you need a little slide. Listen, if you're gonna flash a little still talking Vim stuff,
cool part.
You need to say
about the new control room.
Project management shit.
Just boop.
Doesn't matter.
Can't interrupt me anymore.
It's still going to be on the audio podcast. I promise you, this will probably be the last time Thomas handles production. I can tell you that right now. I can see that he's muting himself out of a job as we speak.
Well, I'm muting you out of my job. No, I mean, I'm dealing with all of this project management stuff. It's all very new to me. Dealing with sprints and epics, and one of my biggest issues is that we have to have 2 code reviewers on our pull requests, and my team only has 1 code reviewer, and the other team is a European team. So it's like 3 days to get a typo fix actually pushed out to production.
You can't have another developer review the code. It's got to be a code reviewer.
Well, there's only one other developer in my team who's capable of doing code reviews. The other team has 2 back-end developers who could do code reviews, or 3. But again, European time. So if I fix it when they tell me at 7 a.m. that it needs to be fixed, it doesn't get to them as a fixed issue until their time. And it's a very dirty back and forth process.
I get that, but for a typo fix, you can't have like a front end dev or somebody else that has access to the repo go in and say, I approve this and let it go.
That's not necessarily a bad idea. Is to prioritize the fixes as who can clear it.
Right. The whole having 2 developers or having 2 reviews is great just to get a second set of eyes. But for something like that, does it really need to go through specific people? And at the end of the day, somebody is going to be held responsible. So if that PR broke the production for whatever reason, they're going to go first to you for opening the ticket and saying what happened, and then to see the 2 people that reviewed it. And obviously, if it's a typo and you had a non-developer person approve it, it should be no big deal.
Right.
But if it's a technical PR and you had somebody not technical review it, then it's on you, right?
This is my first experience with startup life. The big thing that has caught me is that I know a lot of these advanced techniques and right way of doing things, but I spent years and years and years just doing things the absolute fastest way possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was the same way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to catch up with my own knowledge. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. It's like you know enough of what you're supposed to do, but because you are by yourself mainly, you take shortcuts and don't necessarily do it that way.
Right. And
then you don't have the practice doing it.
Ingrained.
Yeah. And Chris in Discord says, never have the developer who wrote the code validate it. And of course, I agree with that. So it's 2 other developers. So
Well,
you
then
have
what's testing,
your...
Chris? What's testing? What is it? What's testing then? If you're not validating your own code.
He's talking about approving it in GitHub, jackass.
Oh, yeah. What if you're using GitLabs or Bitbucket?
What are you talking
Did
about?
you? I don't know.
What are you saying?
Like I was saying, I'm very stressed out. Like all the
You're going
spare
off the
time that I
deep end here.
have, all the spare time that I have been going back to work and just like trying to go one issue at a time through things. Like wake up from a nap and like get on my computer and start fixing things. It is the startup world is different. Anyways,
Yeah.
Eric, you're bored.
I just don't know when I can fucking talk, Tom. Can you hear me?
How's it feel?
Am I not
How's it
fucking
feel?
muted? I never did that to you, you piece of shit, and you know that. You know that. I never did that to you.
No, I do it to myself.
But I will. I will next week when I'm running production. Promise you that.
I'll give you the URL. You can take it right now, baby.
Project management stuff bores the fuck out of me, and I can't even stress that enough. I am not a fan of project managers. No offense to my project manager people out there. I'm just not a fan. And
That's so
John
weird.
knows my struggle with this. And to hear you going down that path makes my skin crawl. My skin
I've
crawl.
always loved my project managers because they're like your babysitters. They're like, you're on the wrong track on this. Get on the right track. They are my connection to the business.
Okay, but we're not a project manager podcast. But
no, we're
that's
a
fine.
software
You guys are
development
talking about it. Roger says he likes hearing about it. Chris has got a bunch of feedback on it. I have nothing to say, so I'm just sitting here quietly.
We do embrace some of those things. We require code review from other developers before things get merged. So that's the direction I was going down.
Dev Circus wants to know, what are some examples of breaking changes in minor Laravel releases? I'll make a list.
No, you won't. It'll be a short list. You can't.
No.
Whatever. Yes, John, you had a question for me?
I want to know about this Pop! OS release that you have on here. I haven't looked into it at all yet.
That was going to be my question. I just have it on here to remind me to ask if you've upgraded your Pop! OS yet.
I have not.
There was no big story.
No, it says a release of cosmic proportions. So I thought, oh, am I missing something? Should I be upgrading here?
No, that's the name of the release, Cosmic.
Oh, you got my hopes all up. Man, killing me.
Yeah,
I mean, but
I upgraded it.
This is a lot like the Windows 11 stuff, where it's just not like it's really impressive on a technical level, but as a user, boy, it's
minor. It's not even impressive on a technical level. I haven't even
trackpad gestures.
We don't have laptops, so that's not even an issue for us. The only thing I've noticed, John, is now instead of hitting super key backwards or forward slash, you just hit super key. That's the only thing you notice different. And of course, you get everything else updated. But yeah, that's all I had there. No big deal.
Oh. Well, I was hoping for more of a story there.
Well, people are saying that like Windows 11 is trying to be Linux and be Apple, and I don't see it. But that's, I mean, also my big prediction was Windows 11 was going to run Linux. So
how's that going? Have they got on that bandwagon yet?
No, it's a new UI that looks like Windows Vista. I'm very upset.
Oh, you have to upgrade within like the next month. Otherwise you lose support.
For Pop OS or for Windows?
Yep. Pop OS.
Oh.
You said Windows. I stopped listening. Kind of moved on. Again, I haven't used Windows in years.
So Eric says I'm not allowed to go through my Trello board because it's all doom and gloom.
So
I'm just going to go.
Honest. Do whatever you want.
I want to close my LinkedIn account.
Eric
I probably should.
You really should. So the latest LinkedIn breach.
Too late to close it now. They already have it.
I know.
Well,
I don't use it anyway. I get more annoyed with everyone wanting to connect on there.
I'm afraid to even log into it.
The latest LinkedIn breach was they're calling it an abuse of their API, which is the same bullshit that Facebook claimed 5 years ago. It was like, oh yeah, our API was insecure, so they abused it. So it wasn't a bug; it was an abuse of the API. No passwords, but like all of the other information that LinkedIn gleans about you, like inferred salary. So like LinkedIn has an internal report of how much they think you make based off of your profile. Things like that.
Do I really care if people have that?
No, but yes. The issue with strangers having this kind of information is that it allows for spear phishing attacks, and it allows for improved guessing of security values for identity theft. And I've seen a huge growth in identity theft stuff on Facebook lately, where it's like they'll say that your drunk name is the last thing you had to drink and your mother's maiden name. And it's like clearly somebody's scooping this data to answer security.
And people actually answer that?
Yes. And there's ways that they mix it up. Like they want your last name, but you hit autocorrect for every letter in autocorrect. It's like it looks like it's generating something quirky and funny, but in reality, you're just giving them personal information. And people don't realize that these things that they're sharing, they're applications. They're not a picture that somebody responded ha 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 to. In Facebook's API, you create a website or you create a web tool that generates these images and then auto fetches all the responses and links them to the account that responded, and you can do things with this information.
Mm.
And information is valuable. You know how valuable information is?
How valuable?
They're practically giving it away for free.
HoneyBadger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and cron monitoring into a single, easy-to-use platform. Stop wasting your time tailing logs and deploy with Swagger. Visit honeybadger.io today to level up.
Thank you,
Thanks,
HoneyBadger.
I agree with you, Darling Data and Discord. There should be laws to hold these companies responsible, but it's a tricky thing because you got to remember they're the ones that got. I mean, they're the one that the crime happened against. That's like somebody holding the person whose house got robbed responsible because you don't feel like they locked their windows well enough. It's not the same, but it's not that different in my opinion. Yes, we need more stricter laws, and there are accountability things, especially when you start dealing with PCI and PII data and things like that. There's a lot of. I just went through this massive security audit with one of our clients. It's something that happens every couple years. I think every couple quarters maybe. And it's so random as well, because like we get dinged for things that haven't changed in like the last, like since we've taken over the client. There's been certain things that were done that this audit we get dinged for. It's like, wait a minute, that's always the way it's been done. Like you've never dinged us for this in the past. But it's just one of these things, man. It's like nobody wants this to happen to them, and there are the situations where it's just straight up irresponsibility of the company that does it. But I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough to hold the victim accountable for this sort of thing.
It's so hard though, because your analogy holds up until you start saying that I built my house and something happened, right? So then I should be held responsible because I built the house and didn't put enough support in the wall, so the roof collapsed while somebody was breaking in, right? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think that's much more of a stretch. I mean, let's take the Sony, the big Sony compromise years back. That all happened because there was a open source package that they were using that they weren't keeping current. And yes, that's definitely neglect on part of Sony, and Sony paid. I mean, like they have to do credit checks on all those people for however many years. And I mean, there was definitely financial cost to Sony, but it's just, I don't know. I've seen both sides of this, and it's tough, man. It's just a tough thing. It's tough.
It's one of the things that I'm currently dealing a lot with is we have an external penetration testing company that's constantly hitting us and saying like, hey, you're passing values in clear text, or you're passing, they're looking at our code and they're saying you're passing stuff and then directly interpreting it without validating the content first. It's like because we deal with a lot of banking data, have to be double, triple, quadruple secure about everything. And if we're not, the theory is that we're liable. But
it's the whole Monday morning quarterback thing. So you guys bolt down every avenue you can think of to protect. You hire companies to do pen testing, which again, this was one of the situations where when I was in the enterprise, management used to always come back and say, why are the pen testing teams still finding stuff? I'm like, because you pay them to find stuff. It's like they're always going to find stuff. They find like these things that aren't critical, but if that's all they have, that's what they put on the top of their list.
Right.
Anyways, so you do all that, and then somebody compromises your system a month later, and everybody's like, well, you should have seen this because this is clearly obvious because this person over in another part of the world found it right away. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's a tough thing. There has to be better, quicker punishment for the criminals doing the act. Like the whole somebody breaking into your house. Everybody doesn't try to break into your house because there's a lot of consequence to that illegal activity. That illegal activity doesn't translate to the digital world that well. And the fact that your front door is now accessible to everybody in the world doesn't make the situation any better either. But I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this. I just say you're never going to be secure. If you go into this knowing you're not going to be secure, you'll be a better person at securing your stuff.
Absolutely. I agree. And that's where I think mitigation and response are two of the most important parts about attacks like these. So mitigation meaning encrypting personal identifiable information, PIIs, and response meaning having a black book saying when we identify a problem, we respond to it quickly, publicly, and securely. Because those things can be handled. But when Experian has been hacked, quote unquote, hacked for 4 months and they knew it, but they didn't tell the American public. And then they come out and their response is, hey, everyone gets free credit checks now. Just log into this website. Also, every time you log into the website, it will ask you to sign up to their credit check enrollment plus service, which charges you $20 a month. I mean, Experian, I deal with this every day. I'm trying to fix my credit. Experian, when I log into their site using the free account because I got my personal information released, they're trying to upsell me. And it's absolutely bullshit that a company should try to upsell me on something that they have failed at doing. That's to me, that's crazy. But that's totally bog standard for all of these services now, where Sony gets hacked, Apple gets hacked, and then they say, well, okay, we're increasing our security protocols. Here's $20, here's a $20 fee to ensure that you're more secure. And I don't think anyone is a better example of that than Peloton, which is the reason I have it in my Trello board. Peloton treadmills killed a baby because they didn't properly ensure that the treadmill had a lower guard and had an automatic stopping system. And so their response to this is that the constant run mode, which is the offline mode, is now disabled on all Peloton treadmills. And to get on the online mode, you have to pay $40 a month. So not only are they not taking responsibility for the issue, they're actually profiting off of it. And this is what all of the companies that have major security breaches seem to be doing, is profiting off of their failure to secure their customers. Not all. Sorry, Eric, I saw the eye roll. It's a gross overstatement.
Are you just droning on about this? Are we going anywhere? Are we done with this topic yet?
Yes.
All right, man. I mean, you just it's that sort of behavior just drives me nuts. It's like nobody wanted to kill a baby, and it's horrible that it happened. They're trying to do something to correct it, to kind of like imply. I don't know, man. I don't like that. I don't like. This is part of the problem with our system altogether. It's like, whatever. I'm done with that topic. Move on. I see you have Copilot in your Trello board as well, Thomas. Did you want to talk about Copilot?
I'd love to talk about Copilot. Copilot is a new GitHub project. And initially, I didn't think it was a GitHub thing, but no, it really is. Right now, it's in a technical preview. You have to sign up for it. You have to wait on a waiting list. But it is an AI-driven code inspector that works along with you as you code. And I wasn't going to put this on the list. And you know why I put this on the list, Eric?
No idea.
It's VS Code only. Because VS Code is the best IDE.
We get complaints all the time for saying the best this or the best that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're all about me. VS Code is the best IDE. So we take responsibility.
Yeah. So we've talked about this for a while, right? About the pluses of IDEs and other tools, and auto completion was kind of one of them, right? In the suggestion piece of, maybe you can restructure the statement or use this new convention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's kind of the same concept behind the whole LSP stuff in Vim. But then I think I shared it. I know I shared it on the show. I got it from an article on PHP Architect, that tab 9, which supposedly uses AI, right? It analyzes the code you're making and then makes suggestions based on that, based on all the learning it did through open source projects, which is kind of the same, not kind of, is the same thing that this Copilot does as well, right? It's learning through open source repos. And it turns out Microsoft has something similar as well called Sketch to Code, where you can actually draw stuff up on a piece of paper, scan it in, and their AI will build out the CSS and stuff for it. So the big question is, are we coding ourselves out of jobs, right? Because this stuff is getting better and smarter. I mean, this Copilot from GitHub, what I've seen of it is pretty crazy. Like people just putting in comments and then entire blocks of code getting written after that by the AI is just insane.
I was very afraid that I was going to mention that, and you were going to tell me that the doom and gloom shit's already done with, and we're not allowed to talk about it anymore. Because, like the thing is as coders, we've always said, like, you can't code me out of a job. Like, I'm always going to have a job. I'm a coder. I'm writing the new stuff. But then, like, when an opportunity for machine learning comes out and they're like, we need 4,000 examples of your code so we can exactly duplicate it on demand, we're like, absolutely, sign me up for the beta. Like, it seems like a bad idea. But as an individual, you're not going to stop it.
I've seen these AIs write like scripts and stuff, so I'm not overly concerned about it because, it's never like great. I figure I only have like 10, 20 years left in this business. I'm fine.
I've already determined that my kids are not going to be programmers, so I'm totally fine writing myself out of a job.
You realize you can't decide that for them, right?
No, I've already determined. I've identified.
Okay. Identified is way different than determined.
Yeah, we're looking much more in the area of firework technician than we are of software developer.
Fair, Carney.
Yeah. I have three. Cutting hair is never going to be automated, he says, having not watched WALL-E in a couple years.
Have you ever seen the Flowbee? That's pretty damn close.
Man. Seen it. Sucks your soul out.
I'm sure babies were killed using it. I'm sure you can find an article on that.
Yes, but how do you profit off of a baby being killed?
What?
Yeah, it's a strange situation where the ideal for a software developer right now is to have an AI write all your code and like you just do code reviews all day.
No, that's not ideal. That's not going to happen.
It kind of feels like it, doesn't it? Wow.
Oh, you're missing out on Discord if you're not in there.
Very judgy today.
I'm with them. I agree. I did put a nice thinking of you two, trying to be nice, trying to extend a little olive branch, put a NFT article on my Trello board that I thought was interesting. An NFT of the web source code was sold for $5.4 million.
What is the web source code? Is it just the first web server? What is it?
It just says it's code. I don't know what it is exactly, but this was the thing that got me on this. I'm like, I don't care about NFTs. I think they're fad. I think they're stupid, and people who are spending all this money are just looking for things to spend money on. But if you read this article, one of the things you got with the NFT was a digital poster of the full source code of the original web. I'm like, okay, I'm Amazoning that because that's got to be a thing somewhere. I don't need an NFT for that. I want that poster out there. I don't know how big of a poster it is. I don't know what language it's written in. I want it though. It's going to go right here over my monitor. That's what you can get me for Christmas this year.
That and some whiskey and an apology letter for muting you.
I still want to know what the source code is for. I don't get it.
I don't know, but I want the poster.
It's for the web.
Web source code poster is what I want. It's got to be a thing. Source code posters from Redbubble.
Redbubble, of course.
Is it Redbubble? Oh, Redbubble.
Yeah. It's always Redbubble.
This is just
we don't care about who has the copyright of internet printing services.
Oh, really? Is that who they are?
Yes.
These are just a bunch of open source images and stuff. That's not what I want. I want this poster. I don't know what this website.
It's not as cool as you think it is. I'm sharing it.
Share it.
I'm sharing. True.
Is it like 4 lines?
No,
I'm still trying to figure out the software. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if you guys see it, but there's a little green bubble that bounces between John and Tom, and I don't know. It seems
it's whoever's talking. Because it was on you when you were saying that.
Yeah, because you wanted to get Active Speaker working on here a long time ago. This actually works with Active Speaker.
You're talking about on the Video Ninja site, right?
Yeah.
I am, but when I was talking, it was flashing on yours, and right there, it started flashing on Tom while you were still talking, and then Tom started talking, but his little green thing had already lit up.
See, I only see it. I definitely see it when you're talking. I don't see it when I'm talking.
So what it's
Where'd
doing
you share
is
this link at?
It's detecting when you're speaking, and it's got a threshold for how long you've been speaking to try and determine if it should switch scenes. So the green dot blinking doesn't display for you. It just displays on other people talking. And the blinking is to indicate that it's acknowledging that there's a silence on the cam.
I don't know, John. This looks pretty cool. I think I want this.
All right.
I want all the posters. I love posters.
This isn't even a poster. It's like a memo. It's a poster of a memo.
Supposedly the poster that it was on that the person who bought the NFT got was of all the source code. So I don't think this is really it.
I would say this doesn't look. I mean, I don't know how this would be source code, but it's still pretty cool.
Wow. And
This
I
is
agree.
like from a book.
NFTs are still dumb.
You were all about the NFTs. What are you talking about? They're still dumb.
They're brilliant, but the existing implementations are still dumb. The NFTs as a service is great, has a huge amount of potential, but that potential is untapped. It's like having the HTTP protocol without any websites behind it. It is an untapped value. And I want to promote NFTs as a concept because it will build the value, the long-term value of these things. But until trading card games get into the NFT game, it's not handy. It's just these individuals, these one-off $1 million things that are useless to everyone else.
I want to talk about this cool shirt that I got. Eric's wearing it right now. It's not focusing. It won't focus because I'm blurring the background.
I got the book behind me.
Yeah, Joseph Maxwell from Swift Otter wrote a book, The Art of E-commerce Debugging. It's coming out next month in July. And
isn't that out yet?
It's
July
not
is
out
this
yet.
month.
Oh yeah, today's July 1st. It is coming out soon. I think July 6th. He said. I don't know. We talked about it on the interview for PHP, the PHP magazine podcast.
I shared it on Twitter that I got it. And
No,
I mean,
I think he's fine. He's promoting the book. He wants people to go buy it.
Okay, all right.
So I don't think there's any issue there. I mean, I'm in the middle of the first chapter because I just literally got it last night. I love his writing style. It's really good. And the very beginning of it brings up a very good question. Not necessarily a question, but the difference between a senior developer and a great developer. And what makes you a senior developer?
Please tell me. I can't buy the book right now. Please just tell me what it is. Tell me what it is.
You have to buy the book. No. I mean, a senior developer really means nothing. It's a made-up title that we give ourselves after we have a few years of experience.
20 years.
Okay, but when did you get your senior title? I had it after like 2 years because I was the only developer and I just called myself a senior developer. I mean, there is no test. There is no anything that says what makes you a senior developer.
It's really most visible as the disappointment on my boss's face. It's the like, you should have known better versus you should have known not that he should have known better.
I'm confused on that. So you're saying you're a senior developer only if you're managing other developers?
That's what it feels like.
I don't think that's what most people use. As Michael was saying in Discord, it really comes down to years of experience. And in the book, he says it seems like once you have 5 to 7 years, you're basically a senior developer. But that doesn't really mean anything in the broad scheme of things. But to be a great developer, you can start that from the day you start coding, and it's learning the proper techniques and learning how to learn, which is huge, learning how to find the resources you need. The whole thing about this book is debugging, so learning how to be a great debugger is paramount.
But I have found that communication with project managers is part of the task of the senior developer. Junior developers, they don't talk to project managers.
Well, in certain organizations, yes, but again, when you're not every organization has that type of hierarchy. So in the grand scheme of developers, junior usually means I'm fresh out of school. I don't have much experience. Senior means I have experience, but it doesn't mean you are a great developer. A junior developer can be a great developer. A senior developer can be a great developer, but just because you're senior doesn't mean you are great.
Well, okay. So the question, I guess, for me is, in most organizations, as far as I understand it, titles and pay are correlated. But what I have seen as a developer over 20 years is that when you don't want to pay someone more money, you can give them a title, and that will satisfy them. And so I think the concept of a senior developer has been bastardized because of that. Has been like, yeah, there's a lot of people out there who were told they're senior developers because it saved the company money.
That doesn't apply just to senior developers. That's for anything, though. I was vice president of something back in the day because it was a title.
It was bowling balls, wasn't it?
No, it was well before the bowling balls.
You were vice president of bowling balls.
No, this was when I was with an IT company, and
I'm not
I
saying
went around fixing printers.
I'm not saying bowlingballs.com. I'm saying before bowlingballs.com, someone just made you vice president of bowling balls.
No.
You're
stretching it there.
For a while, I was president of cicadas. It was great.
You're making no sense. I think you're winding the show down as fast as you can.
No. Titles mattered to me when I was younger. Frank is saying he doesn't need a fancy title. But when I was 25, fancy title kind of meant my career.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone through a lot of interviews lately with people who I'm hiring for a pretty low-level position who have had the title of vice president, senior developer, project manager, but they actually don't have that experience whatsoever. I've seen that over and over again in resumes where somebody went from vice president of software development at some place to janitor, like literally janitor at a Starbucks or something.
How do we get here from talking about a book? I don't even know why I'm promoting it so hard. I just really, I've been enjoying it, and it's been funny. So I brought it up, and we went down this rabbit hole. Sorry, Eric.
That's fine. All right. Is that it? We wrapping up? Or does anybody have anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I want to talk about this facial recognition law. It's not doom and gloom, because I have honest questions. So, Maine enacted a facial recognition law that basically says police, FBI, government entities can't use facial recognition unless it's specifically requested and has evidence of being needed. And hits off of facial recognition can't be used as evidence in court. And that part doesn't concern me as much as what do you do when you're tasked to implement something that is illegal in one state somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So this is becoming a more and more common thing with right to repair, facial recognition, data breaches, that kind of stuff. As a company, has Diego Dev had to say, like, no, we can't do that?
Not yet. Not for anything like this. Or nah.
We've had moral conversations about stuff that I think the closest we came is we were asked to do something that we didn't morally agree with and just told the client we're not going to do that. And they say they're not a client anymore, but we've had it wasn't even necessarily. I don't even remember it being illegal. I don't remember it being an illegal thing. I just remember it being one of these like morally questionable. That's not cool. And we just told them straight up that this is not something we'd be interested in doing. So no.
When we first established this podcast, we had a rule about not talking politics. And we've stuck very strictly to it, I like to imagine. But how do you as a company establish a moral boundary? How do you have that conversation? I mean, like, when it comes to political stuff, me and you guys, we take it offline and we talk about some of it just sort of under the understanding that we agree in some sort of general political areas. But as a company, how do you deal with moral decisions?
Well, I mean, John and I are pretty fortunate.
I was just going to say case by case basis.
Being the owners of the company, we understand that we can be leaving money on the table, and again, morality and legality are two separate things.
They're not, and I'm not talking about legality, because the legality of this law is not actually that it's illegal to implement it. It's just illegal to use implementations, because making it illegal
So it's just it's a thing for us, right? I mean, we have a certain reputation we like to maintain. We have a certain moral code we live by, and we understand by doing that we will not take on jobs, and we'll leave money on the table. And I mean, that's just the test of your morality, I guess, is, if you're comfortable with that, then you're comfortable with that, and you move on. And if you're not, you're not. You're not robbing the client from anything. There's always somebody else out there willing to do it. It's just, I don't know. It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, it hasn't been that big of a deal for us yet.
There are obviously there's a range of acceptability too. There are things that I don't find moral that Eric does, and vice versa, I'm sure. So there's conversations, or there's like concessions made. I don't agree with eating animals, right? We all know that. But we have a client that takes orders for a menu or for a kitchen with meat product. Right. I could take that moral stance and say, I don't agree with it, so I don't want you as a client. But that's hard because, again, we have a difference of opinion on that topic, and I make concessions. Like, I'm not going to stop doing business with this client over this. So there's no like clear-cut answer. It's case-by-case basis.
Sure, but I'm going to need a clear-cut answer.
Just stand by your morals and stand by your ethics.
So has there been a situation where an employee of any of your companies that you've worked for said, I don't feel comfortable working on this?
Yeah.
How would you deal with that as a leader?
Yeah, I mean the one I'm talking about is actually very tricky. It's something that we deal with. But again, if people have a morality, let's take John's example, right? If John said, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable working on this client," I would respect that, right? Now, John's also owner of the company, so it's not like I can hold it over his head. Well, if you don't work on this client, then I don't have anything to pay you for, and that would be kind of shitty for me to do, right? Mm-hmm. But to John's point, you have to make concessions. People don't agree on the morality of everything in the world, and you've got to be understanding of that. And so you've just got to have that flexibility. I mean, there does get the time. You do get to the point where, okay, well, somebody has to do this. I need them as a client. They're paying our bill. I need them as a client. So if you end up in that corner, that's a different story. But in general, just be good people. Just be good people to each other. Be understanding. Be patient. Understand that people have different points of views on topics, and if they don't want to work on something because it doesn't believe with their political view or their religious view or their dietary view or whatever the case may be, if you can accommodate that, just be a good person and accommodate it. Now, if you are if you're a development agency for the Republican Party and somebody doesn't want to work on Republican stuff, then you have a problem, right? There's an issue, but just in general, just be good people to each other. That's all I ask. Just try. I mean, it's not always going to work out, but you'd be surprised how many times it does work out.
Yeah, and Charlton referenced right of refusal in the workplace, which is it's an interesting topic, especially here in Colorado. That's we're we're considered the no gay cake state.
Is that where that is?
Yeah.
Well, look at you.
Oh yeah, no, it's thrilling.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's I have very strong opinions of that. And my initial response was I'm fine with that. Like, I want to know if the person I'm about to do business with are that adamant against something so ridiculous and so not any of their business, I don't want to do business with them. You know, that was kind of my first response. Like, yeah, let all these idiots, like all the Trumpers, like let all these racists make themselves known. I want to know where they're at, because I'm fucking tired of doing business with somebody and finding out that they're these crazy, you know, extreme right wing people and are extreme religious people who judge people. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But again, you can't allow it, because then they start to get their following, right? Because if you allow it to happen, if you allow them to stay in business, and if you don't make it illegal, then they get a following, and the divide just strengthens that way. So I have since stepped back my belief of, let all these people come out and tell us who they really are, because I really want to know who I'm doing business with. I want to know who I'm buying product from. But but now I like I said, I'm kind of stepping back. It's like, well, no, we still got to make it illegal. No, we probably should still make it very illegal. That should still be a thing.
It turns out a larger percentage is crazy than you thought.
Yeah. Out of left field, Cosby being released.
God, I was hoping you'd try to pull us back into the coding world.
Honestly, I was going to open with that just to ruin the podcast from the very start.
We're just
you still
yapping. At this point, we're just yapping. Nobody's listening anymore.
I honestly didn't follow any of this. I heard it on the news that he was being released. I don't know any of the details or anything.
He was released on a technicality.
Ooh, no, not a technicality.
Well,
a fundamental right of American citizens.
Yeah. So I guess when he was originally prosecuted, there was some sort of deal made where they want to go after him criminally. After that is when he gave a deposition where he admitted giving women quaaludes to have sex with them. Then came the criminal charges, even though he's already been told that he would not be pursued criminally.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it's 6 years later under a different district attorney.
Right.
So the issue was that he was actually forced to testify against himself because the Fifth Amendment does not apply when you've been granted immunity. So if they say that you cannot be held responsible for the things you say in this conversation, then you actually don't have Fifth Amendment rights and can be held in contempt for not saying the whole truth. So he was in a legal bind where if he had lied, he was in contempt, but if he told the truth, he was admitting criminal action. And so he admitted what he admitted. which was then used against him in court, in criminal court, to prosecute him, which means that he was denied his Fifth Amendment rights. It's shitty. The situation is shitty.
Yeah.
And the evidence should have been expunged by the judge, which it wasn't, which is why it got overturned.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thought experiment more than anything. Because when you look at a single situation, you can get outraged and be pissed off about it. But expanding it to more general and like you took somebody's word at, we're not going to pursue you criminally. So now tell us all this stuff.
Right. So
yeah.
in the most normal cases where this happens, the interviewer will say, if you admit you're guilty, we won't prosecute you. But if you don't admit you're guilty, we will prosecute you for lying to us. Which is, it's a method of coercing a false confession. Clearly, there is other evidence that backs up that what he did happened. But this happens so frequently in criminal courts in America that you can't just take it for granted that what the evidence that was used against him is true. If he
I missed the Big Bang Theory.
If he was coerced into it. Like I said, shitty situation.
I agree. Sorry, it was just a fascinating topic I had to bring up. But I agree with everyone in Discord. The Big Bang Theory is an amazing show, and I miss it.
I hate that show so much.
Stop it.
So much.
Stop it.
So much. Did you guys watch Inside? John, I know you didn't.
What is it? What are you talking about?
I couldn't watch it, dude. I tried. I really tried. It's
really
so stupid. Oh, it was horrible. It's horrible. I had such high hopes for it.
Oh, is that comedy thing you sent over?
He's gonna win an Emmy for that 100%.
Market.
It's brilliant. The work that he did is just outstanding.
But I love that you say 100%, like it's guaranteed.
Yeah, it is. Because there's an Emmy for comedy. There's an Emmy for comedy special, and he's the only one who did anything good.
There's an Emmy for comedy specials of guys who film stuff in their room by themselves with one camera. Whatever.
That's not.
All he did was sing. It's not even a comedy. All he did was sing the whole time. It wasn't even like Little Dicky or anything. It wasn't. I didn't get it. I tried listening.
Season 2 of Little Dicky's show is out.
I didn't even know he had a season 1.
Yeah, Dave is the name of the show. It's really good. It's about his mutilated penis.
Sounds
still good.
All right, I think we're wrapping up. I really have nothing else to talk about.
I think we started wrapping up like an hour ago. What are you talking about?
I really feel like it. Yeah,
I have a lot of PHP stuff for next week. A lot of PHP stuff.
Well, that would have been freaking fantastic to use this week, but I guess you decided to take the show in a different way. That's fine. This will be it for episode 243. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly. That's the wrong button. There we go. You know what we didn't do?
Button.
We didn't thank our Patreons.
Oh. Thank you, Patreons.
Thank you to our patrons on Patreon. We got a little off track this episode. Do we have any new patrons, Eric?
Wow, Eric already stopped Zencaster. He was quick to the button.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top,
guys
y'all
can't
know
hear it
how
again.
we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John.
I did
You
not
know
see
that
it.
he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it.
right.
You know my lyrics are major. All up in
Except-
the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing.
I feel like I'm being robbed
Keep
the
it
best part of the
ugly.
show.
We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
No?
Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man.
Guess it doesn't matter. It's over.
I'm gonna have to figure that out.
It's fine.
Eric, sorry you're in such a bad mood tonight.
I'm in a bad mood?
You seem to be.
I did not do it that time. I didn't mute him. I swear to God, I didn't mute him. It was for 3 seconds.
It was more than 3 seconds. And it doesn't matter. It was
won't
pretty
do it-
rude.
I won't do it again. I'm sorry.
It was funny the first time. All right, I'm out. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye.
Night, everyone.
And I'm ending the stream. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.